So I'm going to demonstrate Zen Fantasy 2-page roleplay Theater of the Mind, and I'm going to generate the mission solely using the GM page ad hoc. I'm going to start with handy situations, and when I get the progress, I will move over to handy quest middles, and once I get to climax, I will move into the handy climactic ending and resolve my quest. I will be taking images, stills from Michael Crichton's Eaters of the Dead, the original title of that movie and the title of the story it was based on. And I'm using promotional stills from that just as background to help inspire my imagination and also keep a visual image for you if you're watching this on YouTube. Now, 2-page roleplay Theater of the Mind, it's an improv, but it's not improv acting. For instance, if I were trying to do this as a Viking LARP, which is quite popular, you sit around the table and pretend you're ordering meat or actually drinking meat. The wenches are serving. You know, it's you can. I'm sure some people have quite a good amount of fun doing that. But to me, it's not gaming. In order to have true gaming, you need to have some sort of system of resolution like dice. And it needs to be, the entertaining needs to come from both the challenge of overcoming difficult situations presented by the dice, but also it's cooperatively winning as a group, or in solo play, cooperatively getting to the end. And we're going to demonstrate that in just a second. The first page of the 2-page role play, I'll be playing Duquesne, Barbarian. I'm very good at combat. To a lesser extent, I'm terrible at magic, and if I need to do anything to get the critical deeds to overcome some sort of obstacles. 3 types of obstacle in the game. There's scourges, which usually are resulted by once you kill the magic user or the foul beast creating the scourge to an area, then you've triumphed there. Or it's critical insights to know that you either should continue or not continue along a certain path or direction. And then there's critical deeds in order to, as it would say, do something, anything, to get across the chasm, to open the crypt, and get past the obstacle. Now, on the second page, where we're going to play a little bit more of today, you have the handy situation, the handy quest middle, and the handy climactic ending. So here I am, and I'm terrible at accents, so I'm not going to be doing a Viking accent. About the best you can get from me is Norway. I'm from Norway. See, even that's terrible. It's bad enough me trying to overcome my Jersey accent so that, you don't think I'm mumbling here. So, a little Chicago, my mother mixed in there, I bet. So, I'm going to just play this straight up. I'm going to tell the story, and I'm going to generate the mechanics and the adventure as we go along on the fly. So, let's roll our first die here. And I am Duquesne. And Duquesne is summoned by a vassal with a message that he fears that one of his northernmost provinces is going to be destroyed because there are sightings of a dragon. Dragons sound great. We all love dragons. And I'll probably play this even more third person just to constantly demonstrate the mechanics. In some of my other videos, I slip into first person for my narratives, and I can go back and forth. I'm not a purist that says you always have to stay in character. Nor am I offended by people who stay constantly in first person or people who are uncomfortable speaking directly like it's them. It is a bit, disingenuous of us all. And instead, again, we can play this third person. Lots of editorial 4 minutes in, but let's see what we're doing here. I'm going to roll that first dice for the handy situation. Here it comes. And I got myself a 1. It's probably a terrible roll to start with, but let's see what happens. Battle a d6 lowly minions and roll again. Now the roll again means that I'm still in handy situation here. So let me roll a d6, and I'm going to face 1 minion. So probably in this scene here is that, that somebody takes advantage of the situation and decides that if they can kill me, they can possibly take over this quest and then claim my provinces. And Duquesne's going to have none of that, so I'm probably going to easily beat him with 1 dice roll. I'm a barbarian. I roll 2 dice on combat. Here comes my dice roll. A 1 and a 3. I'm destined. I add 1. I clench my fist and I defeat a lowly minion. Boom. Punch the guy in the face and down he goes. Any questions? Let's move on to the next. I'm still in handy situation here. I roll a die, a 2. A 2 is going to be end a critical problem, then roll again. Now, critical problem by the quest here is going to be critical problems break down in a series of critical insights and critical deeds. Now, as a warrior, barbarian, combat-oriented character, from the balance of the game, I'm not as good as Magic, and I'm not as good as Do Something Anything. It's going to be very tough for me to get the critical deed and the critical insight. I may start with a disadvantage, but I'll give it a try. Let's start with the Do Something Anything die roll, and as a barbarian, I roll a single die here, but I add 1 because I'm destined. I rolled a 4. I'm confused, and I'm now a rapscallion for the remainder of the action. That probably is a helpful roll. I'm going to switch over to critical insight. I figure out, are dragons real? Well, I've seen dragons, but we haven't had any dragons in the area for ages. We roll a die 6 here, but now, as a rapscallion, I'm rolling 1 die, instead of as a barbarian, rolling 2 dice and taking lower. Magic. I decided to consult the witch, and I'll just include the witch into my scene here, and the witch will be the magic, but I'm be the one as a rapscallion. I threatened her and told her, what is this dragon that my vassal is complaining about? And I rolled a 5. I am destined still becomes a 6. I got my critical insight. And she said, it is not a dragon, but you're going to have to take 13 people with you, of which 1 is going to be an outsider. And this is where the Arab would come in by the story. And still, you know, I will crib, as I said on my GM page here, steal, borrow ideas, run a module, or adapt whole other game themes. Media sources offer interesting ideas to crib. I'm going to just take an interesting idea of the 13th Warrior. There's still a gloriously shot movie. And we're going to continue our quest here. We're trying to get out of the opening scene. We're trying to get that critical problem. And the second half of that critical problem will be a critical deed. Now I'm rolling 1 die on this table. Before I already rolled that I was confused. 1 die adding 1. Here comes my roll looking for a Do Something Anything. A 1. A 1 becomes a 2. Now a 2 is Kismet. Select any result from Magic, perhaps pick a useful one. Add a D6 minions or lose destined status. I'll add the minions. So in come 6 guys that I have to defeat in this initial bar. This initial a tent. This initial yurt. That's not a yurt. Is a yurt? That would be Mongolians. So I'm in the Viking longhouse here. I'm talking with my guards. I'm talking with my favorite companions, saying we're gonna go to the north. Well, I don't want to go to the north, so I have to beat a few of them in order to get them to come with me. And so I am 6 minions I have to defeat, and I still need the critical deed. But I roll the result of Kismet, which gives me altering the cosmos. And I rolled 3d6 to resolve the action. So I'm rolling 3d6 now on Do Something Anything, trying to get that critical deed. I need to convince myself. I'll get the boat ready to go. Trifecta here, 6, the boat is ready to go. Now I just gotta face those 6 minions. I'm gonna go back to combat. I'm gonna do it pretty quick here. 3 dice. A 4, 1 goes down. A 6, 1 goes down. A 6, 1 goes down. That's 3. A 6, 4 go down. A 2 becomes a 3 because I am I have my destined status. Get this out of the way so you can see more of the page. There you go. And we have a 2 becomes a 3, exhausted, become a rapscallion. Now I'm a rapscallion, but I did not lose the fact that I'm altering the cosmos, but I did lose my destined status. So I could 3. I got 3 more guys to beat, but I'm rolling 3 dice because my 3 dice on combat. 3 dice, 6. 2 dice. Let's roll a 3rd one and add to it. The 6 is still the high die. I'll get my destined status back. I realized that there was 3 guys I needed to defeat. And even as a rapscallion, I decided, well, the final 3 guys, I had a grudge against them for a long time. It was good to even the score. 6. Just cut 1 guy's throat. A 3, a 4. 4 becomes a 5. I can defeat a lowly minion on a 5. 1 guy left. 3 dice. 5 becomes a 6. And all those men who oppose me, they'll be on the ship and sailing with me, whether they like it or not. Let's go to the next scene. Now this next scene can still be in the, I'm just changing the graphics to make it interesting for you all. I could play this without graphics on my dining room table by just rolling on this table. I'm still here, handy situation, D6. Because my D6 roll, a 2. A 2 is I need to end a critical problem again. Now these are tougher from Razor, remember, because each one that I roll here, and it's almost better if I have you know, you play this as a group, so 1 guy can be the specialist in magic, leaving the inside, 1 guy can be the gadgeteer specializing in critical deeds. I need to get the critical deed and the critical insight. But that will, I will fiat this, since I'm playing solo and I don't want to run a 2-hour mission for you and have you trying to fast forward it all. I'll say if I can make the critical insight or the critical deed, I can either move down and roll on the table, and if I make both, I will move on to the handy quest middle. Alright. Why do we change the rules? Because they're there. Of course you change the rules. If you are a strict adherent to every aspect of game mechanics, you're missing the point of role-play gaming. Role-play gaming is the resolution of things either with a referee to make decisions or as a solo player to do what comes naturally and sounds logically, makes sense to you. I move on to the fact that I need to make either critical insight or critical deed. Let's start with the critical deed since I'm easier there. One die. One die, here it comes. And a one die is a 3. Now 3, I add 1 because I'm destined. I'm confused, I become a rapscallion. Okay, well that's going to make it easier for me to roll a magic table. Once again, it looks like a repeat of the last scene. I'm going to roll 1 die over here on magic, trying to get a high die. And a 4. A 4, do I have my destined status? I do, it's a 5, it's a respite. It happens again, I'm going to treat it as a 6. That's not bad, but it does give me a great mob. So I didn't have to fight a dragon, but the witch turned into some sort of hideous snake-like creature with, we'll make her a Medusa. And she was going to end my quest from the beginning. Maybe she was an ally with whatever enchanted creature was threatening my vassals to the north. I'm going to roll on my combat table again, and I'm rolling there. I'm a rapscallion. I'm rolling 1 die, but I'm adding 1 because I'm destined. 6 becomes a 7. That great mob just went down. As soon as it's almost a scene out of the Milius Conan, right? Where Conan beds for the night with that woman, and then she turns vile on him, so he just kills her. Well, now off goes rolling her head. What do I need? I need that critical insight. I need that critical deed. I'm back over here rolling as a rapscallion. 1 die. Here goes my 1 die. Critical insight, critical deed. A 2, but I am destined. Becomes a 3. My spirit wanes. I am a rapscallion, but I lost my destined status. Tougher rolls here. Do I want to go back to Delver here? Do I want to roll here? Do I want to roll here? I'd like to get my destined status back, and there's more chances of me doing better in combat for this whole scene. So let me paint a picture for you. I sat here and brooded. I was angry that my men didn't immediately follow me, but they liked their life here in the south. They all had families. Our adventuring times was long behind us. 1 die in combat. A 6. Got my destined status back. But no. If I were to abandon one of my vassals, they all could rebel. And besides, if the dragon was true, it would take a true hero to kill it. So I'm destined status, still needing critical insight, still needing critical deed. I roll a d6 over here, hoping that if I roll poorly, at least maybe I'll get something that will help me out. 1 die. 3. 3 plus 1 is a 4. I altered the cosmos. It's almost as if I saw that dice before I made it, but no, there's no chicanery or editing here. It's magic. The magic of the dice roll. And that's why playing a game with dice, playing a role-play game, not cosplaying around the table, is so important, because the dice will change the way the flares of the game are happening. I got that alter the cosmos. Now I'm rolling 3d6. 3d6 to do something, anything. I'll pop back there with 3d6. And I rolled a 5, plus 1 because I'm destined. 6, got that critical deed. The boat was loaded, and so were some of the men that I knocked out. The most obstinate of them I tied. I gave their wives kiss goodbye and tell them I couldn't guarantee they would come back home. 3 dice with magic. I called for the wind by whistling, and that 6 gets me on my way. Now, because I fiated this, as I said, I'm trying to keep it short. I'm going to say that ending that critical problem, I could even probably, if I had enough room on 1 page, I could probably even pop a little note in here that it says some of these scenes will acquire relics important to the progress. Well, yeah, some of these results as well can be fiated, so you can move the story along, whether you wanted to play for a half an hour or whether you wanted to play with your buddies for a week. I'm over here on the Pandy Quest middle. What I really want is this on to the climax on a 5 or a 6. Let me roll a die and see what happens. We're going to take to the sails, a 1. Battle lowly minions. Now these lowly minions here are probably related to, let me get a different image. This is probably when we land. After we land and come across, we realize that the people there, that my original vassal had been usurped. And so we're going to have to fight some of these other naysayers who just wanted to evacuate the region because they were afraid of the dragon. So let's fight a little battle against how many minions do we have to face? Roll a die. 5 minions? But what do I do best? I am Duquesne, the barbarian. 2 dice, take the better. 5, gonna make these rolls pretty quick. Now, am I rolling 3 dice? No, I'm no longer in Altering the Cosmos. That was a different scene. This scene it's different. It has different lighting. And here we go into our rolls on combat. First roll, 2 dice. 1 and a 2. Terrible roll. 3, exhausted. I'm a rapscallion now for the remainder, and I lost my destiny. Combat still. I'm fighting 5 guys. 5 guys. And I can assume that the people with me I'm fighting, or am I fighting those same 5 guys who want to go back to their wives? Here comes my die roll. I'm only rolling 1 die now. I want to get my destined status back. And 5. I'm not, I lost my destins. It's a 5. The spark's flowing. I will take the modifier and treat 5s as 6s from that. I had to be coy. I had to talk to them. I had to calm everyone down. There was no dragon. There was none of the evidence that a dragon existed. Still rolling on combat. 1 die. 4. A 4? Not destined. A 4. Clench. Defeat a lowly minion? No, I got 5 of them to defeat, but I'm going to take the modifier to treat 4s as 6s. Now I got 5s as 6s, 4s as 6s. Got a good chance here of getting my destined status back. I assembled them all together and said what we really needed to do was to pray and sing and have and share the meal. There's some good old Viking LARP. And a 2. A 2, unfortunately, is I was tricked. They were trying to get me, and an imminent scourge resulted from it. I was trapped for the moment. In manacles, that'll be the scourge. I have to get rid of the scourge before I can do anything else. But I'm still rolling on this table, and I have the modifier 4 of 6 and 5 of 6. They held me in some stinking pit. Oh, betrayed. A 1. Now 1, not destined, is a 1. Occasionally they'd come down and they'd beat me senseless. So it happens twice before restoration. Restoration is up here. Undo something, anything. I will die. I will add a d6. I've already lost my destined status. I will add another d6. There was 5 guys. They actually had a total of 6 guys that I was fighting. I'm over in here still because I want to treat the 5s and 6s. Although those are treat any. So I can come over here. Yeah, I want to heal myself. How do you do a little bit of a patchwork? I managed to slip my bonds free and heal myself. I roll 1 die. I'm falling into the rapscallion mode, but I rolled a 6. And a 6 is I got healed my comrade, which would be me, my own best friend. Me healed myself and I back into combat. What I say, 6 of these guys need to go down. Let's see what we can do. 1 die. And a 6. A 6, I got my destined status back. 6 guys. I managed to break free of my bonds. I was up in the room. They were drunk. A little bit dazed. And here comes my first roll, a 5, a 5. I'm treating 5s as 6s, but I already have my destined, so it comes up to there. That's 1 down. That's 2 down. That's 1 becomes a 2, tricked again. More scourge, more scourge. And a 3 becomes a 4, becomes a 6, end of the scourge. And after a little while here, you can see a few more dice rolls here. 3 gets the fact that I lose my destined status. Back and forth. I'm not going to belabor this with a dice roll. I could run this. It would probably take me about 5 minutes, do or die. But you can see a little bit of the mechanics rolling on here. And what I really wanted to do is get back to the quest generating method. So, with the big wave of the wand, I'm going to say this final roll is do or die. Here comes my d6, do or die. And it's a 4. Now a 4, I'm not destined, but it's a 4, and I already had the modifier 4 becomes a 6. I get my destined status, and I told them all to hold. We heard the horn cry that would attract us back to our own contention. The best thing to unite a party? Everyone knows this. It's a common enemy. So there wasn't so much a dragon as it was men, horsemen, more ancient in civilization than even ours. These were the eaters of the dead. Look at that weapon. He's just got a club with a rock tied to the top of it. Wearing a bearskin, they probably had to cudgel down. And let me go back to the GM page. I'm rolling on that handy middle here. Let me roll a d6. And I got a 3. Overcome a scourge and then roll again. Well, if I can overcome a scourge, step out and defeat this sub-commander, this sub-boss, I could possibly get them to back off. So I rode out myself, challenged him one-on-one. I insulted him and made sure that he would come forward and attack me. He was at the lead anyway. 2 dice, because I'm barbarian. Adding 1, because I'm destined. And a 5. 5 becomes a 6. I defeated that guy easily. Let's go back to my GM page. I'm rolling on this table. 1 die 6. And there's a 6. So I can defeat a d6 minions as bodyguard and then go into the climax. So there was a d6 minions that had to be taken out. I called my brothers to my arms. There was 1,000 men total, but my share of them was just some of the sub-commanders and some of their immediate biggest guards. And I have 6 guys I need to defeat. I'm rolling on combat again, and let's go ahead and run them in a rapid fashion. Here comes my first guy, defeats 6 guys. It's a 5, I'm destined, becomes a 6. So I have defeated a lowly minion. You can also flare this in that if you have to defeat a large number of opponents, if you get a great mob hit or end a scourge. Over in here, if you get a critical insight and critical deed, you can also say that you move past a large number of minions. But again, if you enjoy the dice roll and enjoy rifting on yourself, hey, if you're a Viking LARPer, you know, just get yourself a good old sweetened mead, honey beer. Enjoy that as you watch the funny dice rolls happen, as you invent this character. And so, Duquesne, rolling to defeat a great mob that I face. 2 dice. 6 plus 1 is a 7. The great mob goes down. Into the final action here. Now the final action here, I'm rolling on the handy climactic ending, D6. Now there are some cases where, for instance, I'm going to fight a great mob and then roll again, but the majority is I can go for the win. Is it a majority? Oh, it's a lesser majority here. But let's go ahead and roll 4. Now normally you don't add destined status to this, and I wouldn't, but I'm just going to overcome a scourge in order to win this game, because it's 20 minutes in, and again, I'm really just making a demo video. Even though I'm having fun, actually I'm having fun. Duquesne, gosh, if you've seen some of the other videos, Duquesne just has had such terrible luck in this game. I think I've killed him 6 times. He lived through the whole 90s convention circuit, and I think he didn't even take a scratch. And now that I've been resurrecting him here in 2021, he's gone down. Down goes Duquesne. Let me make this final roll of combat here. 2 dice, taking the better. 5 plus destined status is a 6. I ended the scourge, and this guy here, let's get the satisfaction of grabbing a drawing tool, and let's just cross him out like this is a gore fest. And we have successfully completed this mission. And did I die in the end? Well, not this time. But there's always tomorrow for me to be dead. More later.